Hi, and welcome to the Skincarma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skincarma blog. With more than 25 years in beauty as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. Today on the Skincarma Pod, episode 18, I'm welcoming to the podcast Smitha Rao, founding scientist of Parëva Beauty. I first met Smitha 10 years ago in my work on Strivectin, where she was leading product development at the time. I've spoken often about how much I admire the brand's innovations. To this day, Strivectin's proprietary niacin technology drives product efficacy and remains one of the most underappreciated skincare technologies in beauty. Our paths diverged over the years as I went on to work on other clients and to launch the Skincarma blog and podcast. And Smitha, scientist, mother, and accomplished executive, has been hard at work applying her breadth of experience in R&D to the development of 15 brands across beauty and wellness. It all culminated in the recent launch of Parëva Beauty, a 3-step clinically crafted regimen designed to promote skin longevity. Parëva's products are powered by an exclusive proprietary technology called Molecur 3, a complex of stem cells Smitha developed to support exosomes and NAD in the skin. I've had the great privilege of test driving the Parëva products over the past month, and I have to say, the brand's C35.5 Firming Glow Serum is next level. It's a vitamin C serum on steroids. I'm excited to hear what inspired the brand and to delve into the science behind these remarkable formulas. Let's talk to Smitha.
Hi.
Smitha, hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited to have you. I'm so glad that we've reconnected.
Yeah, me too. Me
I mean,
too.
after all these years, right? It's been a long time. It's
I
been
know
10
that
years.
it's been 10 years since we last worked together
Yeah,
officially. We
yeah,
crossed paths, and now I think is another moment where, we can start to get doing things together again.
sure. So tell me what you've been up to for 10 years.
Oh my, I had a human baby.
Okay.
uh, no, I mean, that aside, I've been so fortunate. I worked with over 15 odd brands
Mm-hmm.
and professionally had the opportunity to kind of lead 3 or 4 different organizations. And then I also got the expert experience to work in supplement categories, which was a big deal for me. So I did skincare, which is how you know me,
Mm-hmm.
clinical skincare,
Yeah.
and branched into several supplement brands and functional foods, and then did a little bit of hair care. And now here
Ah,
I am with Parëva.
here you are with your own brand.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah. What was the emphasis for starting your own brand?
It's such a good question. It's a
Yeah.
long-winded answer. I'll get to it, I promise. For all of the brands that I've worked with, I always start with something called as the consumer truth, right? So I would do consumer insight analysis. We would look at just really understanding broad spectrum discovery consumer insights on what's happening, right? So a theme kept coming up, right, where there was confusion, dissatisfaction, and overall just a little bit of jadedness that would come in the minds of consumers as
Mm-hmm.
they talked about beauty. Okay, so that piece was happening. On the technology front, I had really started to pay attention to what was the next wave of the frontiers of longevity, or what's cool and new that's going to change the way we think about aging, right? So I really started to pay attention to that, and I have since I started in this industry. So for me to start Parëva, there were 3 things that kind of came together.
Mm-hmm.
First, the modern consumer thinks, shops very differently about everything. We know this, COVID actually accelerated that. So I kept seeing this beautiful white space where the consumer said, I want more science, I
Mm-hmm.
want good science, educate me and bring me something that works. So that theme kept coming up, right? And in all of the consumer truths. And at the same time, I have been researching and keeping up with this really cool breakthrough moment called exosomes and how
Mm.
biotech is changing the game. And the opportunity was recent where I said, you know what? I think I can launch Parëva. I think we can give the consumer what he or she is looking for, which is good science, solid science, good scientific data, which is clean, which is plant biotech. At the same time, the brand also has this huge uh, pillar, which is radical transparency. We take you inside our products. And that's how Parëva came to be.
Wow. And that's that, we're going to talk about the factuals in a second, but when you talk about inviting the consumer into your products, I think you're probably referring to that, right?
Yeah.
That really dense amount. I mean, it's dense, the amount of information on
Yeah.
every formula. And I think I mentioned this when we initially spoke, that I knew that only a scientist who made the formulas themselves could actually have offered up that kind of information. Like, nobody understands the intricacies of a product and the ingredients and how they work together, and why they do the things they do, better than the scientist who made the products,
Oh,
right?
yeah, you're so kind to say that, and that's actually what it is, right? So we know this. COVID changed the way we look at ingredients and how we consume products across a variety of spectrum, right? Certainly, I saw this firsthand in the supplement category, right?
Yeah.
I can give you an anecdotal evidence. We know this ingredient, which is an Indian spice called turmeric,
Yeah,
and
I take turmeric every day.
there you go. And
Yeah.
so you could actually pinpoint Google search data that during the epidemic, that ingredients that boosted immunity from inside,
Right.
they were skyrocketing, rightfully so. And what's interesting is that trend of understanding ingredients efficacy, both in food, cosmetics, and certainly aesthetic medicine, that has stayed. The hunger for knowledge, transparency, help me understand it, give me nuggets of information, and that has not changed. And my aspiration for Parëva certainly is to build that advocacy, right? We will share what's in our products in clear details, in consumer nuggets,
Hmm.
and that helps educate the consumer in making their choices. My wish is they choose Parëva, but
Right.
I'm okay if they choose somebody else. But at least they've made smart choices, right? That is the goal here.
Yeah. And I think you've achieved it, certainly. I mean, I'm a science wonk, so I spent so much time, particularly on. I think you already know that my favorite Pareva product is this baby.
Carmine, I will tell you, my career, I've launched over 200 products.
Hmm.
That is the most expensive product I've launched and is the most difficult.
Oh, really? Well, I want to talk. I mean, let's just jump into it. But let's start with the proprietary science, the proprietary technology, the complex
Yep,
that you created, that you invented, that
yep.
powers each of the formulas. It's called
Molecur 3.
Molecur 3. I wanted you to say it because I wanted to make sure that I got it right. So Molecur 3. What is Molecur 3?
So Molecur 3 is the proprietary patented technology that is found only in Parëva products
Hmm.
at clinical levels.
Hmm.
So Molecur 3 does two things. Number one, it activates or supports exosomes,
Hmm.
which we'll get to in a minute why they're
We
important.
have to get into exosomes. I've been talking about exosomes on the podcast, on my blog. It's the hot ingredient of 2025. Okay, so continue,
Yep.
please.
So it
Yeah.
definitely the anchor, the differentiation is with the support and activation of exosomes.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it also activates something called as NAD. NAD
Mm.
plus. NAD plus is a very important ingredient, cellular pathway, whatever. It is found in all cells and it is an energy activator. So I actually had, like let's back go back a minute, right?
Mm.
I did not want to launch a brand for the sake of launching a brand. I was
Right.
very clear about this. The world doesn't need another moisturizer or a shampoo or a supplement.
Or even a vitamin C serum. I
It
mean,
doesn't.
honestly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, we know this, like skincare is a crowded category. There is a
Yeah.
brand that pops up on TikTok every other day. And so what I wanted to do with Parëva was to build a brand on three principles. Uh, First is good science with Molecur 3.
Hmm.
Second is radical transparency. And third is joy. I wanted the brand and the way we communicate our well aging or better aging to be very joyful. And it comes across in our messaging, our packaging. Frankly, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased, I say that, but we wanted to actually disrupt the way we talk about aging. It's not a bad word. And I like to believe that we are giving consumers control over how they age. So that was the brand promise, right? So when I said I want to do all that, then the question that kept coming to mind is, should we work with other well known chemistries, well known molecules? And
Hmm.
my answer is absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have clinical data that shows Molecure 3, when you pair it with other well known ingredients like a vitamin C, like
Yeah.
a hyaluronic acid, like a, you know the story, right?
Hmm.
It is actually a really good turbocharger. And so I wanted a very good prevention step. And everybody knows how important vitamin C is for skincare.
Hmm.
It is a multi benefit vitamin, it does a number of things. The challenge with vitamin C is it's very unstable. And besides the chemistry of it being incredibly unstable, it is also not very sensorial. If you take, I mean, I'm sure
Right.
you've tried a
Oh,
mint.
it's just like ascorbic acid. I think you're going to talk about is awful. It smells awful.
So, we went back to the drawing board and we said, what can we do that is stable, that penetrates the stratum corneum,
Hmm.
uh, so it actually gets a chance to work. Then I said, listen, my brand is also about joy. I want it to smell nice. I want the texture to be incredibly sensorial, and I want it to be the best serum on the planet. Like that was kind of like, let's create the best serum, and
Yeah.
that's what we were hoping to do with the first step, which is C35.5 Firming Glow Serum.
And I'll tell you, it is one of the most sensorial vitamin C serums, if not the most sensorial vitamin C serum I've tried. It
Yeah,
has, I mean, it's hard to describe. Obviously, where most people are going to be seeing this or listening to this, not seeing it. It has this incredible like silkiness. It feels like liquid velvet. Honestly,
yeah,
like liquid velvet, liquid cashmere on your skin.
yeah.
And I don't know how you achieve that, or if you want to talk about how you achieve that, if that's proprietary,
No,
fine.
I
But
can.
it's really, I mean, to your point, there are vitamin C serums, the most popular vitamin C serums on the market, and we know who those are, made with L-ascorbic acid, and they are not pleasant. They smell, they're sticky. I don't know why nobody talks about how sticky vitamin C serums are. They're so not pleasant and not easily layered. And
Yeah.
so, I would like for you to talk about how, besides the sensorial component, how you made the determination to formulate with an oil soluble vitamin C, the THD or
So,
tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate,
yes.
over L-ascorbic acid, because marketers have conditioned the audience to think that pure vitamin C is the better vitamin C. And SkinCeuticals really came to market 20 years ago. It's 2
Yeah.
decades since that product
Yeah.
launched with L-ascorbic acid at 15%.
Yeah. I would say I'm wading right into the vitamin C wars right now.
Mm,
But I think so. Let's just go through the unequivocal principles, right? Vitamin C is great for skin as a prevention
yeah,
step.
absolutely, yes.
Um, the
Hmm.
the area of, in terms of formulation, there is one specific thing that I obsess over, and that is called bioavailability.
Right.
Okay, so what that means is when we choose a vitamin C or a hyaluronic acid or something that helps collagen, it needs to penetrate the stratum corneum. Stratum corneum, in
The
layman's
skin
terms,
barrier, essentially, right?
barrier,
Yeah.
right? And so for us, that was a very important consideration. Like, can I find something that actually helps stabilize everything that we want to pack in the formula and help deliver it to the right area where it has the maximum amount of potency. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was what we wanted to create. So for me, the choice was very clear. I wanted an oil stable vitamin C. The clinical evidence of that was incredible. And I frankly wanted the consumer to have a really elevated experience with C35.5. I wanted that person to use vitamin C every day, not have little tingling, really
Mm-hmm.
get that sensorial absorption, because it becomes a practice. Just like you take a multivitamin every day, you want to use C35.5 every single day. And so that was the like really that was the brief. So
Right.
BDOSC, or the 30% oil soluble vitamin C, was really it was that was it for us. What we did, and I'll talk a little bit about the texture of the product so it
Mm-hmm.
consumers can understand. This is almost anhydrous system. So the C35.5 Firming Glow Serum has less than 0.01% water. So I can't say
Whoa. It's
it's
super
complete.
concentrated.
It's super concentrated. I can't say it's completely waterless because there's a little teeny amount of water.
Mm-hmm.
And when you apply the product, and you know this, right? You can see that it sits like a little drop,
Yeah.
and that was intentional. So what I did is I combined three products in one. This is a brightening serum, an
Mm-hmm.
antioxidant gel, and
Mm-hmm.
a firming product all rolled into one. Okay. So the texture is dry oil serum.
Yes.
So what it means is, and it's three areas, right? So when you apply it on your skin, it doesn't get runny, it doesn't drip, it actually stays on your face or on your hands. It's a very intentional choice. So when you first apply it, that's the sensory. But as you massage it in, it's incredibly luxurious. It's that playtime. You feel like, oh my God, what is this? Like you can't stop touching your skin. We
It's
want people
true.
to fall
It's
in love with
true.
the skin, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is step number two, right? When you're applying, you're like, I want to put this on my face. I mean, this is so yummy. That,
2 minutes. 2 minutes after I applied it, it now my back of my hand feels like cashmere.
yep. But
Yeah.
then here's the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
There's no stickiness.
None.
Your fingertips are dry.
Yeah.
And that is the sensory of what we call a dry oil serum texture. So for everything that I said, the name tells you what it is. It's C35.5. It's 35.5% bioactives.
Mm.
You need one drop, at the most two, for your whole face and neck.
Right.
Very few brands can say, I'm going to give you 30% bioactives that actually have clinical efficacy. So that's what we did with C35.5.
Amazing. It's such an incredible vitamin C formula. Really stands out from what the thousands of vitamin C formulas out there. It's so unique. So 30% THD, 30% vitamin C. That's significant.
It's significant. Then we have our hero technology,
Mhm.
Molecur 3.
Right. Okay.
Then we put resveratrol.
Mm-hmm.
Then we put turmeric.
Mm-hmm. Two
And then,
powerful antioxidants.
yep, and then I put ceramides.
Ah.
So, I mean, like the whole idea, I told you it's a firming treatment and an antioxidant gel and a brightening serum rolled into one. Because I wanted this step to be incredibly well thought out and simple. Consumers will use one product versus five. We know
Right.
this, you know this, and I
Yeah,
was really
absolutely.
making the regimen very simple. So that's what is in this
I
product.
can't tell you how many times I have conversations with people. I mean, the near identical conversation happened twice in the last week about, I'm too tired at night to do all of these products. Like, what is the minimum I need to do? I'm like, well, what's the minimum you want to do? Do you want sagging skin? Do you want fine lines and wrinkles? Do you want dark spots? Do you want dryness? Like, you don't want any of those things. And so you're talking about one product kind of addressing all of that.
Free. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, you're really, this is very passionate. I mean, there's such a thing called fast beauty, right? Everybody talks about fast fashion,
Yeah.
and we are in that inflection point in our culture where consumers are like, do I really need this viral thing that I bought that I don't know? And why do I need 10 steps? This, I think not only that it's not sustainable, I also think by trying all these things, if you have the time and the luxury and you have somebody giving you right advice to use multiple steps, go for it. I am really, really happy that you have the resources to talk to a derm or an esthetician that will give you a 15-step ritual, whatever. Check, great. But for the average population, we do Wikipedia research or Google research and buy 15 things because some influencer somewhere told you that.
Right.
What it's enabling is over processing of skin. You've put so many things. You have a retinol and you're mixing really potent technologies, and then you have all these things. You're scrubbing your face. You're doing so many exfoliation steps, and ultimately, it's really harming your skin barrier. And
Yeah.
in this situation, 1+1 is not equal to 2 or 3 or 11. It's
Hmm.
actually negative, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the whole intention with Parëva was great skin, really amazing skins, lines, dehydration, all of the things that you're worried about
Hmm.
through simple steps. We wanted to take, the entire process of multiple steps and make it very simple, but great benefits. So we wanted to do that intentionally.
Yeah. So we've talked at great length at my prompting about this incredible vitamin C product, but I think there's 3 products in the line. Do you want to just quickly touch on the other 2?
Yeah, actually, you'll be surprised. The other two are very popular. I mean, our revenue is telling a very interesting story. So let me break it down, right? Step
Hmm.
one is our C35.5.
Yeah.
I wanted to make this is your prevention step, right? It has all these antioxidants. It is also firming. It's clinically proven to improve elasticity. You're getting a beautiful glow. Every human being should use this. So that's first. The
Sure.
second step, believe it or not, this is also very popular, is the restore step. And it is our collagen 20 gel cream moisturizer. Okay. This has 20% bioactives that are hyper focused on enabling collagen. I can tell you that I was very, very inspired by aesthetic medicine.
Hmm.
A lot of the inspiration for Call 20 came from what was happening in the derms offices, specifically PRP, right?
Oh,
So, yeah, it's inspired by PRP,
what's PRP?
that platelet rich
Ah,
blood.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went back to the drawing board, right? Like, what is the best known moisturizer and how can we get there, right?
Mm.
And in terms of sensory, in terms of efficacy, in terms of everything, right? So consistently, male or female, I told you because of the over processing of the crazy steps we're doing, you have patchy dryness, your
Yeah.
skin barrier is incredibly disrupted, but nobody wants lines and wrinkles, right? And you are noticing, if you look at pop culture, you're really noticing a subtle but important shift in moving away from the over botoxed face to more natural but elevated look, right? And so I was thinking, like, how can I create the best possible collagen moisturizer, and what does it need to do? So first things, oh, unbelievable data on barrier function, check.
Mm. Yeah.
Second, I wanted it to have very good hydrators in there. There are 6 different hydrators in there.
Hmm.
Third, I wanted to target collagen from multiple levels. So if you have lines and wrinkles, uh, Call 20 is your friend. I'd encourage you to look at the before and afters,
Hmm.
especially around the glabellar lines on your forehead and the eye area, including sagging. The
Hmm.
reason why Call 20 works so well, in my opinion, is
Hmm.
because we have all of these technologies and we have Molecur 3 that is really supporting exosomes and NAD plus, helping enable the uh, helping efficacy of the formula.
Hmm.
So that is where we are.
Incredible. So you're taking, I mean, honestly, if you're using both of these products, you're really going far towards stimulating collagen. And, I've talked quite at length about, collagen production and how you lose 1% collagen every year. And by the time you're my age in your 50s, you've lost about 25-30% of the collagen you had in your youth.
Yeah.
So you're stimulating collagen production both with the vitamin C and then the technologies that are supporting Col 30,
Call 20, yes.
Col 20.
Yes. Let's just back up a minute. 100%. I think between step 1 and step 2, this is all about getting skin to your ideal youthful state. They work
Mm-hmm.
very well together. But if somebody wants to say, listen, I don't want to try 2 products from you, let's start somewhere. Great. If you have lines and wrinkles, go to Call 20. If
Okay.
you want to have the best vitamin C superstar, start there. It does. I mean, it doesn't. They work independently. They have efficacy independently, but they work really well
Sure.
together.
Yeah.
The other reason why I was particularly going after collagen,
Mm-hmm.
collagen is a very large protein, right?
Yeah.
Applying collagen topically doesn't do
Oh,
anything.
stop. Yeah. Can we talk about that? I mean, I've talked about this. I think the molecule is 300,000. The molecular weight of that molecule is 300,000 Daltons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you can't nothing above 500, 700 Daltons penetrates the skin. So 300,000, 500 to 300,000 is quite significant.
Yeah, 100%. I think there are two ways to think about collagen. It's actually two ways to think about aging in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
First is you replenish from outside, right? You don't have vitamins, you have a lack of something, you replenish it. The
Yep.
second way is regeneration from inside.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the second way is you're training your body to make healthier, whatever, collagen, elastin,
Yeah.
moisture. That is actually so much more powerful when you think
Yeah.
about it. Because then the application of all of these technologies we've talked about really enables regeneration from within.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way my strategy with collagen 20, you're right on everything you said. You do have degradation of that. If you don't replenish, you won't have a rejuvenated, younger looking skin.
Yeah.
You have to consistently do this on an ongoing basis. That's no doubt something that has to happen.
Okay.
There's a way to do this. And my approach was to use signal molecules, right?
Ah, yes.
So, peptides, some of those which are truly signal molecules, including our Molecur 3, including our exosomes. The
Mm.
idea is you're training the cells in your body to replenish and make more regenerative collagen,
From
right?
within.
From within.
Yeah. Do
Vitamin
it
C,
yourselves. Do it yourselves. Why do I have to apply it? You guys do it. That's what your
exactly.
job is.
Exactly. And vitamin C is a really great enabler of that. In collagen 20, there's a huge new area of research called senolytics, where you have zombie cells. I don't know if you've heard that.
Cell senescence.
Cell senescence.
Yes.
And so it's actually cellular detox. So you have cells that are neither healthy nor are they dying. You want to get rid of all that. And
Yeah.
what it does is it makes your body produce more youthful collagen. And and that is what we really attempted to do. And that's fundamentally why I think we have such great before and after. Some of the efficacy is as early as 4 weeks on deep set lines and wrinkles. And to me, that just speaks to the science of the product. And if you use the product, it's an amazing hydrator. I don't know if you've played with it.
I
But
have. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's a
Yeah.
very, very elegant formula.
Yeah.
Um, we've packed in 20% actives, like I said, but we've also kept it super lightweight. It's not greasy. It
Yes,
works with
it's
most,
not.
most skin tones. It's actually silicone free as well. So,
Ah,
yeah.
that's terrific. A lot of people look for silicone-free moisturizers.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
that is called 20. Let me come to the third one.
Yes.
The third product, I can't choose my favorite. This is
Mm-hmm.
called RH 5.5 Hydra Bond Primer. RH stands for rice and hyaluronic acid. 5.5 is 5.5% skincare actives. It is oil free, silicone free, dye free. Within 30 minutes, it replenishes your skin barrier, and we've done a lot of measurements. It is the cleanest primer, I would say, out there. Your pores over time, your pores are starting to appear less prominent.
Mm-hmm.
It's fixing the barrier function. It's a really clean formula. It also has Molecur 3.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the beauty: makeup lasts 8 hours when you use this, hence the name Hydra Bond. You're hydrating your skin, it's bonding to makeup.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that in as we've launched this brand, so many of the models are raving about this because they're like, you know what, I use this at New York Fashion Week. My
Mm.
makeup artists are telling me, what are you doing to your skin? And they're going crazy for this product because it works instantly. It blurs all the fine lines. Nobody wants fine lines, like nobody. So this is our third product. This is our prep step. The last step before makeup, and that's what we are launching Parëva with.
That's great. So I want to just circle back on I just want to circle back on Molecur 3. So
Yep.
can you talk about what's powering that complex? I
Yes.
mean, you talked a bit about exosomes, NAD plus. They're all components, I'm assuming, are derived from the stem cells in the complex. Like
Yes.
it feels like your breadth of experience all of these years kind of came to a head, right? Like in this one complex, and that's really kind of what stood out to me. I was like, oh wow, okay, I see what you did there, Smitha.
Thank you for saying that. It certainly feels that way. So, Molecure 3 is the combination of three plant stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% vegan. It's stem cells from plants. It's made in Switzerland, by the way. The first is pincushion flower. The second is goji berry. And the third is sunflower sprouts. So, we combine these three plant stem cells to create Molecure 3. The combination, the efficacy, the way we grew it, all of that is proprietary and it is only available in Parëva products. So that is Molecure 3.
And is it at the same concentration in each of the products, or
No,
no?
I would say when we write a product brief, there are specific attributes we want the product to deliver. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, the RH 5.5 Hydra Bond primer, it's really about barrier function, pore minimization, bonding to makeup, right? So you change the concentration slightly. So the thing I can tell you is it is in clinical efficacy across the board. The concentration varies depending on what we want the product to deliver.
Great. And so I referred at the very outset about something that you call the factuals.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, I'm very jealous of that word and the fact that you trademarked it. It's kind of genius. So factuals is, the F is in parentheses because you're talking about the actuals.
Yeah.
Like what is actually in each of these formulas. And
Yeah.
like I said, the content on each of the product pages is so dense, and the depth of the information is only something that the scientists who created the products could deliver. So if you go to each of the product pages, if you go to the C35.5 page, you're able to get down into a breakdown of each of the categories of the actives in each of the formulas. It's high performance actives, it's functional ingredients, and then inert base ingredients. The
Yeah.
percentages of each of those, the composition of each of those, and I think that's really so stand out. You talked about the transparency of the brand. There aren't a lot of brands who do that.
First of all, I would say I have an incredible design partner. Okay. Two of them
Uh-huh.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked together for a number of years. We landed on the factuals. Like I said, the C35 and Call 20 took a very long time to develop. Creating the concepts of the factuals took even longer.
Oh
um,
wow.
because for us, we went back and forth, and I'm a brand owner, right? The amount
Yeah.
of effort and intention as a team we've put behind Parëva is very, very high. So let me tell you the real emphasis of the factuals. And I would say great brands always start with the consumer truth. And the consumer truth was people don't like to hide behind magic and miracles anymore.
Yeah.
And they want to know what's in it. As a brand, we are all about truth and transformation with good science and radical transparency and joy. That's our third superpower. But if you look at what we did with the factuals, and you're absolutely right, we broke down what's in the product in an effort to enable the consumer to really understand the intention behind the products and the brand and feel confident in how we've created this breakthrough innovation. Okay, so it's actually in our packaging also. So it is a little, the way the packaging or the product comes to you, the product is cradled in the factual, so you have to open it like a present. um,
Hmm.
and so with all of this information is how you get your products. So it tells you what's in it. And I wanted it to be very simple and easy to understand. And I mean, it's, this, right? That was sort of our thinking of really trying to create a brand and a product that gives education, but doesn't overwhelm and confuse the consumer. That's what we've attempted to do. And I think we've done it reasonably well.
Oh, I think you've done it very well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one of our very important channel strategies is the pros and the aestheticians, right?
Hmm.
The number of comments I've had, Carmine, where people have said, Smitha, this is an aesthetician's dream come true. And I mean, this is what an ST dreams of, like when he or she, they want products like this. The number of comments we've received has been very, very positive. Uh, and we want to do this, right? So to think that somebody can whip out the texture, the efficacy, the sensory overnight, I mean, good luck.
Right. Absolutely.
But I'll tell you, the other thing that we have done is we've put a lot of intellectual property behind the brand. So we have protected the IP behind the technology, the formulations, all of that. And so that is actually super important for us because there are investors in the business, and I wanted to make sure that what we build doesn't get knocked off very easily.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job. Phenomenal. You
Thank you.
created one of my favorite vitamin C's. Like I talk a lot about having joy in your skincare, and when you really love doing something, you stick with it.
Yeah.
And like anything, if you want the benefits of a vitamin C serum, you have to stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's how
Exactly.
you improve their skin health. And I think that's what you've set out to do. And you're there. So
Thank you.
bravo.
Yeah. Can I tell you one additional thing about the brand that I'd never get to talk about? Um,
Absolutely.
the fragrance is exclusive to us.
Hmm.
So we partnered with a French fine fragrance perfumer, and it was very important. It's super important for me, just like the efficacy, the sensory, and the delight the consumer gets. It's part of the joy, right? It is an important brand pillar.
Yeah.
So we have actually really made sure that, again, nobody else gets access to the fragrance, and it is only in Parëva products. And again, it's something that we've received incredibly positive reviews and feedback from consumers who've purchased the product.
Yeah, I have to say it's relatively subtle, but it does lend to the sensorial experience of the products in a subtle way.
Yeah, because I think also, right, like you like most humans don't like the word compromise, right? So we have been trained that clinical skincare brands don't have sensory. Who made that rule?
Right.
Who made that rule? Like, why does vitamin C have to be not desirable? Like why do, like, I have my fun products and efficacious products. I'm like,
Yeah.
put them together, right?
And
Like,
they're medicinal.
yeah,
I think it probably it's ingrained in us because medicinal products are, really, really potent products made with, you know, very high concentrations of actives tend to smell, right? And I think consumers are conditioned, we're all conditioned to think that if the product smells like medicine, then it's better. And it's
well,
not necessarily true.
I don't think it's true. I also think it's a cop out. As like
Yeah,
I've created product innovation for a long time, right? I think
right.
it's a cop out, right? When you don't know, or or you don't have the time. This beauty moves at a very fast pace,
Sure.
and you have innovation schedules you have to meet. So there are situations where you really don't have the time. Even if you wanted to create something aesthetically pleasing, you're racing against the calendar, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I just think we took a step back, and so it's taken a long time to get here with Parëva. And I think you'll agree with me. We've put some good filters that are important for consumers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. So in terms of future,
Yes. What's ahead for Parëva?
we just launched in 2025. It was
Mm-hmm.
a very meaningful year for us. And I can tell you, I'm very proud of the team behind the brand. And it's one of those few brands that has invested in not one, not two, but three clinical studies. All of the three clinical studies were conducted in Europe, very strict,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to do all the right things for the brand. So that's where we are now. But in our pipeline, we have several other products in development, many much further along than you would think. But yeah, we have a really robust pipeline. And almost all of them are first to market, like the C35.5, where we are actually pushing the envelope both in terms of performance as well as consumer delight. And that is what we're going to continue to do.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Smitha. This is
Thank you.
incredible. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much. The
Carmine. Thank you
products
for
are
having
wonderful.
me.
I encourage everybody to check them out at ParëvaBeauty.com. Check out your Instagram. Follow your Instagram at Parëva Beauty. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come out on the podcast.
Thank you, Carmine. Happy to
Okay.
be here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
That was awesome. Seriously, one of the best vitamin C serums I have ever tried. This stuff, C35.5, incredible. 30% concentration of oil soluble vitamin C. It goes deeper into your skin, stimulates your collagen. Incredible texture. Check them out, seriously. ParëvaBeauty.com. Thank you for listening to the Skincarma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skincarma blog at skincarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.